Hi there, welcome back to Maths Chat. Today I'm going to show you how to factorise non-monic quadratics. So this is when they're in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 and a is not equal to 1 or 0. Just a heads up, you will need to know your times tables for this. So in this example, I've got 8 out the front of my x squared, I've got negative 14 out the front of my x, and 5 as my constant. Normally, we would ask ourselves, is there a common factor between these three terms? And there isn't, which means that I've got to factorise it in the form that it is now. I'm going to start by multiplying the 8 out the front by the 5 at the end. If we're imagining it in this form, multiply a by c. 8 times 5 is equal to 40. This is where it takes a bit of thinking. I need to ask myself, what two numbers multiply to make 40 and add together to make negative 14? I'll say that again. So what two numbers multiply together to make 40 and add together to make negative 14? Now this is one of the things that students really struggle with, is coming up with the factors. Again, you just really need to learn your times tables off by heart to help you with this. So those two are negative 4 and negative 10. So just checking, they add together to make negative 14 and multiply together to make positive 40. So we're on the right track. Now, for this first step, I'm going to split them up. Minus 4x minus 10x plus 5. Alright, so that is where I then look at my first two terms, 8x squared minus 4x. The common factor here is 4x, and left over I have 2x minus 1. Looking at second lot of two terms, I'm going to take out the common factor from these, which is negative 5. And left over, I have 2x minus 1. And that is because negative 10x divided by negative 5 is positive 2x. And positive 5 divided by negative 5 is negative 1. At this point, it's great that these ended up being the same. That's what we're doing by setting this up. Because now I can take that as a common factor out the front, because that is now a factor of both of my terms. 2x minus 1, and then whatever is left over, so 4x minus 5, that goes in the second bracket. And that's done. Alright, let's try the second one. So, following the steps that we did before, I multiply a by c. So, a by c, 8 times 15 is equal to 120. Now, I need to ask myself, what two numbers multiply together to make 120 and add together to make negative 26? So that would be negative 6 and negative 20. Because they're both negatives, when they multiply together, they do make a positive. But when they're added together, they make the negative 26. So let's follow what we did up here. I've got 8x squared, and I'm going to break that into the two parts. Negative 6x and negative 20x. Plus 15. So those are the two products that make up 120, and then add together to make negative 26. Next step. Again, I'm going to factorise the first two and then factorise the last two. I'll show you with the colours though. So out of these ones, I've obviously got x as a common factor and also 2. So 2x, and left over I'll have 4x minus 3. And then looking at these ones, I'm going to take out negative as a common factor. Negative 5. Left over I've got 4x minus 3 because I've taken out the negative. Now this means because I've got 4x minus 3 and 4x minus 3, let's make that really obvious that that's a negative. Alright, I'm going to take it out the front. So 4x minus 3 becomes the common factor out the front. And then whatever I've got left over, so 2x minus 5, is what then goes into those brackets. Thanks for joining me on the show today. Make sure that you hit like and subscribe and leave any comments or questions that you have below. See you next time.